All right, so GNX, we now have a weekend of listening to it. We now have a weekend of talking about it. We now have a night of talking about this new lawsuit that Drake has brought forward to UMG and Spotify for allegedly having bots increase the spins and plays of Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar's diss track towards him. So we now have a weekend to talk about it all. Let's really talk about it. Let's really talk about it. Look, GNX as a record, there's a lot of strong stuff on there, a lot of stuff that doesn't work, as usual with Kendrick Lamar. The guy can rap. He's an incredible rapper. Incredible. Energetic, competitive, acidic. His flows are getting tighter, as I outlined in my last video. It's hard to really criticize his overall rapping. But there's still choices he makes on the record that are not great. There's songs that just are not listenable. People like Dodger Blue. I'm like, why? I know you driving down Santa Monica, you driving down to 10. Yeah, but still, it's not that wavy. Let's be honest here. Reincarnated is one of those tracks that, those videos of people like dancing to Mortal Men, they're going to do that for Reincarnated now. The Made Niggas sample is definitely a really good idea. That's a great Tupac song. It's one of my favorite Tupac songs. Made Niggas is Tupac at his best. Great flows, paranoia. The selfie video in the music video it's iconic. It's really one of one. It's ahead of its time. But the song where he goes back and forth with John Lee Hooker, it seems like, who cares? Who cares, Kendrick? I get it, art, commerce, and all those things. But it just doesn't hit. Luther's not a good track, really. Not really. Now, Peekaboo is very good. Peekaboo's very good. TV Off is very good. Black Dot Morals is cool. Squabble Up is very good. Everyone should read Alphonse's review for Pitchfork. But the one thing I did disagree with in Alphonse's review is I do think Squabble Up is great. I actually think it's maybe one of Kendrick's best songs to date. But that music video, not really that wavy. I get it. I get the references, Menace to Society, The Roots. I know the references, but art is all reference now. It's all reference. There's no real ideas of its own in that video to me. It just references to culture that we've already had, and that's really playing on people. I understand why people are protective over him. Increasingly, we have this world where our art, meaning black art, is being devalued. Commentary is happening from people who don't look like us. Right? I understand these things. But can we see the hypocrisy in all this? He takes flows on Peekaboo and Hey Now. Mostly Drake on the Ruler, a little bit of Young Slow B. A little bit of Ralphie. He takes these flows and is now repurposing them for his own gain. All rappers do that. It's fine. All rappers do that, right? All of them do it. All of them. Jay heard Coogee rap. Then he heard DMX. Then he heard Young Chris. Kanye used to rap a certain way, and then Yeezus dropped, and then he kind of started rapping like Future in a way. He kind of started rapping like a drill artist. All of these things happen all the time in music. Always. So how is it different when Drake does it? Riddle me that. Riddle me that. I've lost respect for a lot of people throughout all this. A lot of people. Riddle me that. How is it different than Drake being influenced by a flow? Why is it so different when Kendrick does it? Why? We believe in his story so much that we're just going to overlook this whack shit? We're so deprived of feeling in all aspects of culture that this is the thing that we're latching onto? Even though this is a man who's deeply hypocritical throughout all this beef. Calling Drake a pedophile even though he's standing with Dr. Dre. These aren't things I'm even mad about. I'm just saying, like... And look, Drake is not winning the optics game. He hasn't won the optics game in 10 years. He hasn't won it since Meek Mill. But that lawsuit, have you guys read it? I'm not, arrogant enough to think people haven't read it. I'm sure people have read the lawsuit, right? So if you read the lawsuit, you know it's not really towards Kendrick Lamar. It's towards UMG and Spotify. In fact, Drake even says in the lawsuit that UMG was like, hey, you should sue Kendrick instead. Now, if you lose a rap beef and then you go and you sue the record companies for gassing Not Like Us a little bit, it scans as bullies got bullied. You're taking your ball and you're going home, right? Can't do that if you're Drake. But if Kendrick did it, would your response be the same? Would it be the same? I can't help but see the truth in all this. And I'm not one of these, like, I'm writing, I'm conspiracy type of guys. Like, I'm writing, I'm the only one saying this out of 500 people who are enjoying them. I'm not really that type of guy. But this situation, it's ridiculous. You guys surely know how ridiculous it is. You have to. You have to. I want it to be more... I want music to matter more than just these aesthetics and, oh my God, black excellence. Is that all it is for everyone? To me, the album's a victory lap, but I just like, that's a cliche term. There's some good tracks on it, but I can't imagine really writing for this album. Man of the Garden is not good. It's not a good song. Not a good song. I didn't think that track was fire, really. Really. Squabble Up, Peekaboo, TV Off. TV Off is a better version of Not Like Us. If TV Off goes up at a, pub I'm at, over the weekend, I will join in on it. I will join in. I have lost respect for a lot of people. But not Alphonse Pierre. That is a thinking man right there. I was wondering what he would write, and that is a thinking man right there. Everybody should go read Alphonse's piece on Pitchfork, his review of GNX. But every single one of y'all, I've lost respect for a lot of people. It's rules for thee, but not for me beef, and I will never respect that. I will never respect that. It's not real. It's just fake. It's just hoopla. That's all it is. Rules for thee, but not for me. Oh, Drake, he has to be, he's got to be so, he's got to walk the line so hard. He's got to walk the line so tight. Pause. He's got to, he's got to know his place so much. But our guy can do whatever. We're all rooting for him. After Not Like Us came out, I understood why the song got its due. I get it. Although I think the whole certified pedophile thing is really stupid. I think it's like incredibly stupid. I saw someone say like, why hasn't he addressed that? Because it's idiotic. That's why he hasn't addressed it. Would you address something stupid? I just don't understand what is it about Kendrick that is so much different than what Drake does or any other rapper does. He's become such a family values neoliberal too. Put a square on his box like Jack Dorsey. I'm on my ownership. Now it's about Kendrick the businessman. Oh, I'm performing at the Super Bowl. Great accomplishment, by the way. It's a great accomplishment for hip hop. I get it. And I'm not saying that Drake doesn't want these things as well. He probably does, right? Probably. But Kendrick is now capitalizing off of these things. He's capitalizing off of this beef. He is capitalizing off of owning PG Lang. He's capitalizing off of everyone else's hatred towards Drake. This abnormal hatred people have. I get why people are protective over Kendrick. When it comes to being a black artist, few artists truly understand it in the way that he does. Spiritually, complexity-wise, even the politics, they're not great politics. Frankly, they're not really good politics, quite frankly. I've spoken about him and women and how weird I think it is. But there is something to his contradictions that I think Black America really does understand, myself included. But how come Drake's complexities get laughed at? He's not the only complex rapper to exist, guys. I get the LA people. I get it. But you guys won the World Series, all right? So, it's not all been bad. I don't know. He stands at the pop out with rappers who have taken Draco's sound Everyone has respect for K-Dot. I get it. But Draco the Ruler is murdered at a festival. And he stands with YG at the pop-out. It's a very complicated thing. I don't really like talking about gang ties and street incidents because it's not music. And we don't know these things. We don't know how these things work. The streets are very complicated. It's a very complicated identity. But it speaks to the moral high ground that you guys seem to think Dot has. Because he clearly doesn't have it. So, and I'm just wondering, which one is it? Is it the moral high ground he has? Or is it the fact that he's the biggest hater? Which one is it for everybody? Why do people love him so much? Is it one or the other? I'm just confused. Let me know. This has become a rules for them, but not for me beef. I don't respect it. I really don't respect it. And I'm not saying Drake does everything right, but I truly don't respect it. It makes me crazy. It makes me out of my mind. The story that Kendrick wants you guys to believe is that he is the last remaining arbiter of truth and culture and expression and all these things. I think he's done a pretty good job of making himself that through music and through mystery. He does a great job with mystery. I think it's a Californian thing. Maybe just growing up secluded in that way. It allows him to hide himself a little bit more than someone like Drake. Someone like Kanye West. It's a certain value that he might have. But I don't see it. I don't see it when it comes to this record. I don't think it's a masterpiece. Some dope songs on it. TV Off is dope. Squabble Up is dope. Peekaboo is dope. Hey Now is it's such a, oh my god, it's such a it's such a flow stealing record. Peekaboo feels like more homage, whereas Hey Now it's just straight flow stealing. Straight up. Now, Kendrick has always been a fan of street rap, so I don't know if I agree in Alphonse's review that the platforming of street West Coast artists scans as a clapback to Drake. I'm not sure if I because he's always been a fan. I mean, he shouted out Mozzie at the Grammys once. He's always been a fan of street rap. Always. But it's very convenient that this stuff comes out now. Keep your third eye open a little bit. A little bit, fellas. Just a little bit. I know the whole thing. Black excellence. I know. I get it. The whole thing. Yeah. He's performing at the Super Bowl. We made it. But relax. Relax a little bit. This guy is so hypocritical. I in 10 years, we're going to look back and be like, we were cheering that on? That weirdo? I have been there too. I've gotten into things because we have such passion for this. We have such passion for our music. You have such passion for our culture and our aesthetics. We have such passion for it. But hold on a little bit here. Let's think about what Kendrick's saying, what the entire beef is saying. You have people online comparing Drake to Israel. I'm sorry. One, not counting the obvious anti-Semitism there. One. Secondly, there's only one artist in this beef that has signed a ceasefire for Gaza letter. It ain't Kendrick Lamar Duckworth. It's not Kendrick Lamar Duckworth. Hold on a little bit. All right? I get it. OVO, yeah. He has no real ones in his crew, sure. By the way, all the people saying that are Stanford graduates and who attend Black Men in Tech conferences. So you guys you guys think you're real ones just because maybe you know a cousin in the streets or whatever. Relax yourself. You're gentrifying Inglewood as well. Okay? Relax yourself. I get it. Yeah, Inglewood. I get it. Relax yourself, though. Driving down to 10. You guys don't drive down to 10 and you don't know any black people past the 10. I get it. But, let's be wavy. How about that? Can we be a little bit more wavy? Please? I'm begging for more waviness. Instead of just following other men and jumping on opinions or jumping on the hot thing to say because we hate Drake so much. We're like mad that Drake is like popular or something. For all of his faults, Drake has correctly understood that a lot of what this game is corny. For all of his faults, he kind of understands that the institutions and such as the Grammys, right? Such as the Super Bowl, those institutions, they don't care about hip hop, okay? Kendrick performing at a Super Bowl is not going to do anything for hip hop. It's not, it just isn't. It's not doing they view him as a talented 10th of hip hop. Right? He's not helping hip hop by performing at the Super Bowl. It's just for him. It's just for his legacy and PG Lane's legacy. Same with the pop out. Great moment. I get it. Juneteenth. Not like us. Unity. By the way, even though they put YG up there, who obviously doesn't know anything about unity, so hard to have unity when Draco the Ruler was murdered at a festival that he was supposed to be performing at. A little hard to have unity there, yeah. A little bit. Just a little bit. I just want to shout out Alphonse Pierre. I mean, that review is why I have a deep reverence and respect for him as a man, as a writer, as a brother, as a friend. I only man with a mind of his own. I mean, sometimes I've even let y'all try to influence me. I'm done. I've lost a lot of respect for people throughout this beef. It's corny. It's what are we doing? Who gives out the passes? You guys give out the passes? No. You guys do not give out the hall passes. I can walk freely wherever. People can walk freely wherever. Drake's got his issues, but he can walk freely wherever. You're not my hall monitor. GNX is they got some dope records on there. Kendrick's a dope MC. You have never heard me say he's not a dope MC. He's energetic. He's grimy. He's competitive. My favorite Kendrick is he's very great at taunting, which is something that he should do all the time. I almost think a lot of my issues with him is that he's like he is essentially kind of like more of a Jay-Z than he thinks, and instead he feels more comfortable with himself if he's like more of a Nas, if he's more of this like conceptual thinker, or there was a tweet that's called him the black man Eminem, and like to BH he is the black male Eminem. I almost think he's more comfortable being I think he's more comfortable being Nas and Eminem when he actually should be more Jay-Z, Lil Wayne. If he just came out there and taunted people for 12 records, yeah. But he still gets in his head that he's got to do the Tupac thing. Oh, I'm Tupac. Reincarnated. No. Yeah, man. It's not. It's rules for thee, not for me, and I just don't respect it. I understand it. I even empathize with it. Don't really respect it. This would never happen in New York, by the way. I must tell you. Just saying. This would never happen in New York. Yeah, I it's what I've been saying about the guy for a while now. I just don't. And Morale and Big Steppers, I don't think the album sounds good. I do respect its audaciousness in terms of his complexities and his contradictions. It reminded me of my burner account back in the day. But I don't think the album sounds good. Someone was like, oh, I think this is better than Morale and Big Steppers. I was like, I hope so. I hope it's better than Morale and Big Steppers. Yeah, so I'll just leave you guys with that. I certainly understand it, but I also think this is a bunch of bullshit. So I see it, and I see the bullshit.